the Generational Talk Show. My name is Syd Heller.
I'm Olivia De Laurentiis.
And welcome to class.
Yeah, well, today we are going to talk to women of many different generations about just being a woman and the experiences of everything that comes with that.
And today we're talking about safety, because I don't know if you know this.
That's a big thing.
It's not that safe to be female.
Shocker. I bet nobody knew that.
Let's go ahead and ask some questions to you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna try to kind of talk about the importance of why it's good to talk about women's safety instead of pretending like it's all fine.
Emotional and physical safety.
All types of safety, just like there's all types of health. Has anyone been catcalled?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Heyo.
Anybody have like a notable catcall experience?
Oh my gosh, yes. One day I was walking home from work and this guy was driving in his car oncoming traffic and he's honking his horn at me, which is normal, but I'm ignoring it.
Is it normal or are we female?
You know?
We're conditioned.
Exactly.
It's not normal.
It's not normal.
Common.
It's common, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I see him, but I'm keeping my head straight, and out of nowhere, he stops his car in the middle of traffic, runs across the busy street to come and get my number.
Why would he think that would work?
And I don't know, I think he was just so caught up in my beauty.
Well, I love that for you.
How can you blame him?
He couldn't miss it.
Yeah, wow.
It was scary though. You never know what guys are gonna do.
That's so scary.
Also scary for him.
Yes.
Driving into oncoming traffic?
Running across the street.
across the street.
Or running
Yeah.
across the street?
Yeah,
That's not great.
If he drove into oncoming traffic to ask for your number, that would be like a
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
But I
nuts.
have to say,
Yes.
pretty flattering. I mean, I know that's
It's a twisted thing, you know, because on some level you're like, okay, there's an element of it where you're like, okay, but then there's another element of it where you're like, am I so unsafe right now?
Yeah, I get catcalled a lot on my way to therapy.
Love that.
Walking across the same street every time. And every
Perfect.
time that it happens, I have a moment where I'm like, okay, and then a moment where I'm like, this is why I need therapy.
Yeah.
And then I
You
go into therapy.
talk it through, and then get catcalled on the way out.
Yes.
Yeah, always good.
Have you ever been catcalled, Laura?
as young as like 10 years old.
Hard pass.
When I
That's a
first
pass.
looked in the mirror and I thought I saw a woman looking back because I started filling out. But I really hated it. And I would hear the little people can and it's still thinking about it makes my skin crawl.
It should.
Yeah.
A
it
bunch
really
of
does.
yeah.
But other times too. And, you know, in Hawaii, I drove around my little red Miata, you know, and, you know, old people do that.
That's a cute
And, you know,
image,
the
I
color of my hair from far away, you can't really see that it's white. It looks maybe more blonde or something. Several times I'd, you know, come up to a stop sign and I could feel someone looking at me, you know, and so I got used to this and it made me chuckle each time, but I'd look over them and because they'd be ready for me to see what I look like and they go, because I'm old, you know, and they think it's going to be some hot blonde or something.
Oh my God.
That's so.
Bella, any notable catcalling experiences?
I haven't had much experience on catcalling. However, I do believe that there's like time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And if it's respectful, I guess
Right.
it can be flattering. But if it's disrespectful, like the kisses, I think that's a little much.
Yeah.
But, or just like a little like.
I think somebody giving you a compliment in a public situation, like for example,
Yeah.
if I'm in a grocery store and I say to somebody, "Oh, you look really pretty today,"
Right.
that's like fine.
Yeah.
But if I go up to somebody with the intention of making them feel small
Or unsafe.
or unsafe or
Or
sexualized,
humiliating them.
maybe that's not great. Maybe we stay quiet.
I feel like it all comes down to the intention, and if the intention is, hey, sorry if this is uncomfortable, but I just want to let you know, like, you look great, or like, yeah, go girl, like, that's great. But if
Here,
it's
let
about,
me give you my number.
yeah, if it's like this is about me, I don't care how you feel, I'm gonna hit on you, then that is bad.
we don't need that.
We don't need it. There's already enough bad stuff.
So many bad things. So speaking of all the bad things in the world, do you have any specific safety tips that you like use or know in the back of your mind, and where did you learn them, Laura?
Believe it or not, way back in the day, I was roofied. And so I see more about that now. And so like you were talking about in the beginning, talking about it, letting our children know and my grandchildren, I think young girls need to hear what, not just about the drinking, about other safety issues. It's not a good experience. So what I saw recently on a show was when you go out to cover your drink, keep your drink covered.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. They also have started doing like, there's like a nail polish where you can dip it in a thing and it changes
see if-
color if it's been drugged. Or there's
did not
there's
know
like a
that.
bunch of I think there's like different types of things that people are inventing to help that, which is great
That is
because
awesome.
because it's like if people are gonna be absolutely psycho, you have to fight back with like way more intensity.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I
that's-
know,
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that and sharing that with the younger people who are gonna have to protect themselves.
Yeah, so it's something that I was always taught by my mother. Sad that she had to teach me this, but she did.
terrible.
Is if you're getting into a physical issue with someone and they're maybe coming on too strong or like won't take no for an answer kind of thing, she was like, pee.
Oh yeah. I've heard that.
She was like,
that.
you
It's
fucking
supposed to
pee.
repulse them.
You make yourself as gross as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, try to throw
that
up.
they
if you
go
can.
like, oh God, never mind.
Yeah.
And it's like funny, but it's sad that that's a thing we have to like
teach a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think when it comes to safety, what a lot of us don't really talk about is how to talk to someone who makes you feel uncomfortable
Yes.
psychologically, how to mess them up. So my trick, when I'm talking to someone who I know has the intention of trying to get with me or coming on a little too aggressive, you play along. You don't say, no, I'm not interested, I have a boyfriend. It makes them angry, it makes them a little bit more aggressive and upset, which could lead to you being harmed later on. So what I do is I talk to them, how are you? And you steer the conversation. You ask them questions about themselves, get them talking about themselves instead of you. So then you say, okay, well, you know, I gotta go. It was really nice talking to you, but here, take my number down. Or take something down. If they, if they keep asking you for your number, say, yeah, sure, take my number down. As soon as you get their number,
You just
block
them.
them.
Yeah.
And it lets them know in their head, okay, yes, I got her. I'm gonna text her later on tonight. Instead of like, no, let me go follow her because I've been rejected.
mad.
You took
Yeah.
their power away. And
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
what a
you
lot
take
of it
their power
is.
away.
Yeah,
It's a power
absolutely.
thing.
I mean, it's so funny because speaking of catcalling, like I find myself being catcalled the most often when I'm dressed in sweats.
Yeah.
If I look hot, I'm usually walking like really confidently, and people are like, "Oh, she might punch me if I yell at her." And if I look like insecure or like uncomfortable or sad that day, people will be like, "That's a target," and it's like, "No, that's bad." But yeah,
I have a friend who dates. She's a young woman. She's my daughter's age, and she's a good friend of mine. And she calls me to let me know if she's going out on a new date, so that in
Amazing.
case something doesn't, she doesn't call me back or whatever.
Yeah. It's, I think, when it comes to dating, especially dating strangers, people off the internet, it's always good to have some plan in place, right? Of like, you're gonna go to this place, what if the person seems like, ooh, I don't know if this is a safe person.
how many friends are you going to send your location to? Is there an emoji that's a code? Once again, it's so sad and horrifying that we all have to do this, but there's something kind of unifying about that, like, we all know this.
But on a lighter note,
Yeah.
what's a place where you do feel very safe?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone's like,
That's a hard one.
Church? I was actually going to kind of continue
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
on the being honest part. I think
Yeah.
for me, it took time for me to get there, especially as a trans woman.
Yeah.
Before transitioning, I wasn't really aware of the thirstiness of guys or like the prowl they might have until I started transitioning, and I feel that once I started dealing with that catcalling or all that, I was able to be honest and be more open to tell them no, like this is not okay, or if I felt uncomfortable or anything, I'll just stop it. immediately. So I feel like that's helped me in the way to be more honest.
yeah, that's really
Makes
awesome.
sense.
Yeah.
And
I had one more thing too that is one Christmas I got all the girls in my family that were of a certain age those little keychains that have the little two spiky things
Oh,
in
yeah.
Because I used to carry around my keys with always one of the keys out like this.
Oh, I do that?
Yeah, totally
But
do that.
these are even better. And so I got a mace and that, a couple things like that.
Love that. Another fun fact is I love before the pandemic, I would love to go to bars and get drunk and teach women in the bathroom basic Krav Maga. So just like fun fact, if you ever need to aim for somebody, center line of the body is where you're going to hurt the most. Like you're going to disable them the most, especially if it's
The
like
nose
eyes,
bridge.
nose, mouth. This is really good, but it's sometimes hard to hit. Your elbow's the hardest part of your body. If you're going to kick someone in the groin, you're going to use your shin instead of your foot because your foot has a trillion bones in it. Your shin is very strong, and your knee could get injured faster than your shin. And also, if you're kicking someone in the groin, you want a complete all the way up like you're trying to slice them in half, because a lot of the time you don't use proper strength if you are trying to just stop at the groin. You will not slice them in half because your leg is not a blade. So that's some fun fact.
Another one, if someone's trying to grab you from the back or like really trying to kidnap you, drop all of your weight as if you're dead, because it's heavier for them to pick up dead weight.
Yes. So. Also, phones are sharp. Have you ever like dropped a phone on your face?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like anytime I feel unsafe, like I use my, like if you were to hit someone in the face with a phone really hard.
Especially on the nose bridge.
Another really good tip is have my personality. If you have my personality and somebody's trying to attack you, they will get so frustrated and annoyed that they'll go home. Go away.
Just go home.
Just get out.
Unless that you find your perfect match.
Oh my God, through kidnapping? You want me? Oh my God. Actually, one time I did have a nightmare that Ted Bundy was killing me.
Oh my gosh.
And then I woke up and I wasn't scared. I was offended because he didn't fuck me first. And that's what he did to all of his victims. He like fucked them and then killed them. And then in my dream, he just killed me and I was like, rude.
That's
And the twisted insides of a woman's brain.
Anyway. What are places you feel safest?
Yeah.
Definitely with family. Definitely.
That's awesome.
Just anywhere I grew up in, my comfort zone. Whenever I just feel down or I'm not comfortable, I can just always come back to them.
Yeah.
And there's always like a safe haven with them, my sanctuary. So.
Do you have a specific person in your family who it's like, I need them to come places with me and I feel fine?
All of them are great, honestly. I do feel like my middle sister is a little more sassy and feisty than I am, and she's very defensive. So it would definitely be her, someone that I can come with.
I love that. I love a feisty sister.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
How about sometimes you want to go where everybody
knows your
name. Like a place, if you get used to a place that
like
everybody
bar.
knows you.
Bars.
Safe bar.
But you can still be roofied in a bar like that.
That's true, Laura.
That is very true.
By the bartender too. A lot of bartenders do that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's somewhere you feel safe?
I mostly feel safe if I'm going on a date. I would try to make it a group date. So like, bring your friends along. We'll bring our friends along.
Love that.
Something to where we can all mix and mingle and get a feel
Like
of,
a mini golf energy.
you know, like
Mini golf
A
group
nice
date
little
is so fun.
daytime date.
Daytime
yeah,
date.
something,
brunch date?
a brunch where everyone
Yeah.
can go out and eat together.
It's interesting because we've done a sketch before where it's like you're bringing on a date, and it's like so much of it is like, is this person gonna kidnap me? Is this person gonna kill me? Like all that stuff. It's crazy.
Oh my God. But we can also talk about things like emotional safety.
Yeah, emotional safety is like also very, very important because while like always take care of yourself physically and make sure no one's hurting you physically, you also have to make sure nobody is hurting you emotionally, because that can be just as bad in like a totally different, horrifying way.
Like, so what is something you do to prioritize your emotional safety in a relationship?
Yeah, like boundary setting, for example. Like I'll set boundaries if someone, now in my life, like if someone were to yell at me for no reason or get angry at me for something, I know that's a thing that makes me feel emotionally unsafe. So I would set a boundary of like, that's not what we do. Like I don't stand for that. Like I can't be in a room with, if there's someone who's volatile and likes to yell a lot, I'm like, cool, I can't be with that person.
Yeah, something that I learned from someone else, which has come in very handy, is, you know, the whole like negging thing of like people sometimes will put you down to try to get you to sleep with them. Something I have said, like I've been like, oh, I don't like that, and then they'll go, I'm just giving you a hard time, and then I say, why would you? Why would you give me a hard time?
I love that.
The world is hard already.
I give myself a hard time. Global warming exists. I don't need a hard time from you.
If you like me or could, why are you giving me a hard
Be
time?
nice to me.
Exactly. I think that still goes back to them being insecure. A lot of men can be very insecure with the women that they're with. They don't want them to be better than them, make more money than them, get more attention than them. So they try to put you down.
Do you feel, being a trans woman, that with your experience that you've had to deal with more safety concerns than being a cisgender woman?
I honestly feel we both deal with similar experiences. Of course, there might be some few differences. I feel like murders of transgender women are a little bit more high, unfortunately. So for me, when I start dating, usually I get to let them know like during date 3, not right away, because I feel like that if we're meeting and I just tell them that I'm a trans woman on the spot, that can put me in danger.
Absolutely.
Or you don't even know. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy in the world.
100%. People
so
are
I feel like 2, maybe even date 3, kind of get a feel of the conversation, kind of see his perspective on the LGBT community in general.
Absolutely.
Just to see where his mind stands. And if I see anything that he says, anything disrespectful or anything, that's my cue to leave.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I've grown up with a family who's taught me that I'm good enough and that I'm worthy.
Yeah.
And so they were able to make that within me, or
Instill that.
instill that with me. So
That's very good.
I feel that hopefully other people who are struggling can know that they're not alone, definitely, and that you're loved. And that,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're all from different generations. First, really quick question: how did you, when you were growing up, how did you learn about like safety? Like how in your generation, how did your generation handle women's safety?
People take for granted that certain people are safe. Policemen, doctors,
Right.
you know, teachers, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
When I first went for my eye exam, and I took my little sister with me, and I sat in the big chair, and the doctor showed me how to. I think we went like this, show how the E's went, or it was a W, I can't remember, and and then he was behind me doing that, and he stuck his hand down my thing, and I just froze. Because I hadn't been taught anything.
No, I mean that's the natural responses to freeze.
And I just kept following the thing, and as he was squeezing, I was like,
Squeezing what?
my breast, and it was like, he was acting like he was talking like, okay, and which way is it turning out? Like if nothing was going on, and I was just like,
that's psycho.
And so, when it was done, I grabbed my little sister's hand, I ran out, and I don't know what happened to him, but I did tell my mom and stuff. But I mean, you take that for granted.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like, especially in older generations, there was that blind trust of authority figures, and only like a crazy druggie can hurt you, not a doctor. And it's like, no, a doctor can really,
Not a
really
cop.
hurt you. Yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you think about the generation?
Well, for me, from my personal experience, I know before transitioning, typically cisgender women are socially conditioned to be prepared when it comes to a certain amount of things, like, hey, this might happen if you go here, or being catcalled, and you're ready for that. But before transitioning, I wasn't aware. So as I started to take steps into womanhood, that's when I started learning everything firsthand. So I'm like, well, this is a little much.
That's I don't know. That's a lot of
so it's like, it's a lot. So once I started going on a few dates, I started learning a few things I didn't like. And I felt like my mom was able to talk to me a little bit more about it. But it's definitely something that I discovered later on. It wasn't, I wasn't prepared to.
That's a really
crash
interesting
course.
experience of not being already conditioned to being like, well, this is how it is.
That's crazy.
So it's something that you learn at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I love your mom.
Yeah, your mom
your
sounds,
mom
your whole
sounds
family sounds
awesome.
wonderful.
Thank you. Hi, Mom.
What's her name?
Leticia.
Leticia!
Leticia!
As a Gen Zer, like what do you think there's a more progressive take towards safety, or do you think we still have a long way to go? What's your vibe?
I definitely think we still have a long way to go. I'm still seeing videos every single day on Twitter of men following women home and trying to break into their house, but the women close the door and lock it as soon as the guys are, it's just not. It's being recorded more. I think it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
But it's just being on camera more.
One of the good parts of the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, coming from my background, West Indian culture, it's pretty weird when a guy does. We as young women get catcalled all the time by older men, and I won't say all parents do this, but majority of parents are so used to that. They don't really interfere and say, don't do that to a young child. It's very common. So young women don't really learn to prepare themselves for war with a guy. They just kind of say, okay, well, that's normal.
Yeah, and I think now people have been so much more vocal about the experiences they had when they were younger, that now those people are becoming parents. And I've babysat for families where you'll see the mom say oh, do you want to give her a high five, a hug, or nothing? Whereas it's when I was a kid, it's kiss your relative.
Yeah.
And it's well, what if I feel uncomfortable with that?
It's,
You know?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
on the cheek, you mean? Or?
Yeah, like on the cheek, but it's like,
yeah.
I had relatives who were like,
Creepy.
you know.
You always have like a weird old, like
Uncle.
you're a little kid, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't remember this person,
Yeah.
it's weird,
Yeah,
they
this
smell
is
like
a
cigarettes.
family friend that you've never met. Oh,
Kiss
yeah.
them, you know, it's like,
I want to kiss you.
I love the new movement of like teaching little kids like you don't have to touch anyone.
That I think is a great move toward showing young girls that you can be like, no, thank you.
We
Okay.
have like a very silly quiz
about
emotional safety.
Yeah,
Okay.
we figured, you know, like maybe we can talk about, like, for example, like some people don't know what like gaslighting is, or what, you know, and it's good to look out for things. But we decided to make a silly quiz to make the mood a little bit lighter.
Okay.
All the answers are going to be pretty obvious on this quiz.
Yeah.
There's no trick questions at all.
No, none. Okay,
All right,
are we ready?
Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can just raise your hand if you know the answer, okay? Randy and Inez have gone on 2 dates. He already tells her she is the love of his life and has written her 2 songs and a poem. He has broken down sobbing to her about his deepest fears and says she is his new reason to live. He also bought her a Toyota Camry. Is this emotionally healthy? A, no. This is love bombing or something just as unstable. B, yes, I would like a Toyota Camry. C, it is not healthy because Randy shouldn't have given Inez a Toyota Camry with the amount of crippling debt he is in from art school.
A.
It's
Yes,
a good
it's
A.
A!
That's love bombing. If someone is treating you like the love of their life when they just met you,
They don't
and
know you.
they are unstable and they are trying to get you to trust them so that they can do bad things later. So never, ever, ever be cool with that. If it feels genuine and it's been long enough, hell yeah. If it doesn't feel genuine, that's called love bombing.
Maybe it's manipulative. Okay, everyone.
Oh boy.
Jessica and Marie have been dating for 3 months. It's going well, but sometimes Jessica will punch a hole in Marie's bedroom wall and then say something quirky like, I never did that. Is this emotionally healthy? A, yes, this is preferred. B, no, this is gaslighting.
No. Just no.
No, that's gaslighting.
Why
You
are
never
you
want
damaging my property?
Never damage anyone's property, and if you do something, never be like, I didn't do that, because that is called gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
And that's not emotionally safe.
No, we don't like
You
that.
don't gaslight.
No.
Except for that one time I said to that guy at the bar, I didn't see
She
that.
did, yeah, she
I
did. She
didn't
did
see
totally
those
gaslight
people.
him.
I've done it once.
But I think it was called
I'll
fraudulent
repent.
retribution.
I'll repent later for that. Oh boy. Okay. Michaela just turned 20 and enrolled in a pottery class.
Yay!
She has a crush on her cute teacher, Arnie, who is 27 and also her teacher. It isn't the biggest age difference in the world. One day, Arnie asks Michaela if she would like to make kissy with him after class. Should Michaela make kissy with her 27-year-old teacher, Arnie? Is that emotionally healthy?
How old is she?
20. Just turned 20.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I'm going to say no because it's a teacher. And he's using his.
Power imbalance.
If someone's an authority figure, there's automatically a power imbalance.
If you are not that far apart in age, it doesn't matter.
And
if
we
there's
know
a
'cause
power
we've dated
issue,
our teachers.
Okay,
It is
so,
really.
So I've been down at the bottom the whole
Oh my
time.
God, you gotta bring her all the way up. That's
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bring her all the way up. Yeah, so power imbalance, if you're dating your boss, you're dating someone who has power over you in any way, shape, or form,
That's right.
that could get really bad really easily.
yeah, that's not good.
This is the same one we've already asked.
Oh.
And that's it. That's the quiz, guys. You guys did a great job. Great job staying emotionally healthy and knowing those red flags.
Today we talked about safety. We had some real moments.
We had some real moments. We had some fun moments. We lifted each other up. We warned everyone about the world.
And we are so happy to have had you here with us, as well as all of you. So thank you for watching.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have been absolutely wonderful and have just like the best ever day. Bye!